The Bible tells us about Jesus at 12, when he was a boy, and then nothing until he was 30. Where did he go? What happened? As a kid, I had a lot of questions about this. And actually, it's one of the most common questions that people have about the Bible. So today we're going to answer it. Okay, so the first thing that we have to understand is that the Gospels, they're not biographies. They don't intend to give us like a full account of Jesus' life. That's why there's so much that we don't know. We don't know what he did on his 18th birthday. Don't know what he did on his 21st birthday. Or just huge gaps in his life because the Gospels aren't trying to give us everything. They're just trying to give us enough so that we understand who he is and what his mission is. So that being said, the Gospels do tell us a few things about Jesus between the ages of 12 and 30. For example, we know that he went to live with his family in Nazareth. We also know that he grew up in a small, insignificant town. In fact, it says that it was so small and insignificant that there was a carpenter shop there that was run by his father, Joseph. We also know that Jesus was a carpenter, so he probably worked in that shop alongside his dad. We also know that Jesus had 4 brothers and at least 4 sisters, maybe more. So we can imagine him growing up in this big family with a bunch of brothers and sisters, all of them probably working in the carpenter shop. And then, of course, there's the incident with Jesus and his brother James, where they go up to Jerusalem to celebrate Passover. And in that trip, Jesus gets lost for 3 days, and they're frantically looking for him, and they finally find him in the temple. And it says that his mom and his dad were there talking to the teachers of the law, and Jesus was teaching them. And it says that everyone that heard him was astonished at his understanding and his answers. So we can see that during these 18 years, Jesus didn't just disappear. He was actually hanging out with his family, living a normal life, working as a carpenter, and at the same time, preparing himself for his ministry that was about to come. And that's kind of what we see in the Gospels. Like Jesus often talks about how he has to go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He has to go preach to the poor. He has to go heal the sick. And he's not doing any of that stuff here. He's just living a normal life. But he is laying the foundation for what's going to happen later. So we see that these 18 years are not just a gap in the story. They're actually a very important part of Jesus' life. And even though the Gospels don't give us a lot of detail, they do give us enough to show us that Jesus was not just missing during these years. He was right where he needed to be, preparing himself for the mission that God had given him.